So I was thinking this morning about when have I let someone press my button? And what really came to me is I started to reflect and I said, ooh, I remember this instance when I was in the corporate world. And I was, at the time I was a regional controller over an operation here in Dallas that handled about $130 million of revenue. And we were losing maybe 40 cents on the dollar. And it was the regulations of the state along with what was going on, and that was just continuing. And it was true with the whole company. So we were all brought up to the home office in New Jersey, and we had to go up there with a plan that was going to bring profitability. And I went out there, and the whole team, not only me, but our whole management team, put together this incredible plan. It was realistic. It wasn't pie in the sky. We've heard about all the planning that's done, and if you've been a part of a corporation at any time, it's pie in the sky, most of it. We're doing it to please the person. Well, we made a commitment we weren't going to do that. We were going to give a realistic plan so that we were being good stewards with the money. Well, I was the presenter, being the controller, so I got up. I presented this plan. It was about an hour and a half, and I got done. And the CEO, who was a big man, very OCD man, and he just basically stood up, looked at me and said, "That's just bullshit." Now imagine, you've got your career built to that point. You put everything you've got into that presentation. It was the best of the best. And to have the CEO in front of the senior managers of the corporation, in front of your management team, in front of the 4 other regional management teams, hear him say that directed toward you, do you think you might be offended? There was an instance yesterday, or the day before, I don't remember, on Facebook, where someone was talking and they were writing something about how this stuff doesn't work for them, and I was watching the banter going back and forth, and I started to interject a little bit. I felt the need to interject some wisdom. And I interjected the wisdom and said that something to the tune that if you believe it, it's done. If it's not in your life, it's not a belief. Well, the person then proceeds to give you all the reasons why, and I'm saying, well, when you argue, you're only trying to convince yourself. That's something to look at. So I dropped the conversation, and this morning I got one of those little messages, I don't know, instant messenger on Facebook, and it says, "Well, I'm offended," or something to that tune, that you stopped the conversation, that you didn't want to take the conversation forward. And I said, that's really interesting. Should I write something back? And I said, of course not. Here's what I came away with. Being offended is a form of weakness. Now I really want that to settle into you, because being offended is a form of weakness. Have you listened to Jerry Seinfeld? Have you listened to any of the comedians today who are no longer willing to go into our college campuses? Because they're no longer willing to go into our college campuses because they have to be so politically correct that there's no longer humor? Do you realize that right now we are the most coddled population on the planet, that we are so offended by everything that anyone says, whether it be about race, sex, nationality, religion, politics? We're offended by everything that someone says. We are truly a society that is fully weak. We are a society that is ready to crumble. And you're saying to me, what do you mean? That is offensive. No, you're ready to crumble if you believe that. And let me share why. Because if you buy into the idea that there's an infinite power and presence and you are an expression of that power, are you not whole, perfect, and complete? If you are whole, perfect, and complete, can someone say something that can possibly offend you? It is impossible. It is thoroughly impossible for anything to be said to offend you. However, we have bought into the collective consciousness that if I talk about sex, if I talk about drugs, if I talk about politics, if I talk about religion, and it doesn't meet your views or your expectations of me, and I offend you, I now have to respond to you. And I'm going to tell you this, no, I don't. And I'm going to tell you this, no, I won't. Here's what we understand at Agape. We understand that the very basis that makes us unique is our values. And we understand that everyone has unique values that are unique to them, that are different from anyone else. And once you've identified those values, you realize that that's what you're living from, and your values determine your destiny. Your destiny is how you experience every moment of life. Because your values create the filter through which you see life, through which you feel life, through which you experience life. And those values allow you to have the feedback so you can now, from those values, go forth and become a greater you. So I start to look at this idea of the whole purpose of values as being the unique soul filter to the heart that is Lee. So here's what being offended means. It means it's a sign. It's a sign that something has pressed my button where I'm not living up to my highest expectation, and I need to go within and examine it. If something is pressing your button, that's not my concern. I can love and support you as you come to clarity on it, but I can't be concerned with how you feel. Because I have to honor that my values are unique to me, your values are unique to you. I'm here to support and love you, but I'm not here to please you. This is what I come to be as I start to embody the idea of how we're in relationship as a human race, how we're in a relationship as a country, how we're in a relationship as a community and a city. It's about how do we link our values and allow everyone to have their perfect experience and not throw our shoulds, woulds, and coulds upon others. We do this with our children so often. We're trying so hard to condition our children to be just like the way we want them. And guess what? They didn't come onto this planet to be like we wanted them. They came into this planet to be the uniqueness of themselves. So if that's true for our children, would that not be true for our spouse? Would that not be true for our mother, our father? Would that not be true for our neighbor? Would that not be true for this president or that president? Would it not be true for that leader of the world or this leader of the world? Don't we all have to be in a state of unconditional love? Which means we accept people where they are and know that despite the experience, there's the presence of God with them that's drawing to them exactly the law of cause and effect, and they're having that experience. And without that experience, there can be no greater way of coming into a higher alignment. You see, without the contrast, this is the beauty of life. Without contrast, we're stagnant. We want as much contrast in our lives in every moment as possible. So this morning, I experienced a diksha, a spiritual diksha. I'm not sure you know what diksha means. It's an Indian term, and it means an initiation into. It's a spiritual initiation. So this morning, I was in an initiation with a spiritual leader in India, where from the time from 7 until 7:45 in India, he was focused totally on me, and I was focused totally on receiving the message and the gift that he was giving me. And the message he was giving me was the idea that the Divine Mother exists within me, and in this moment, my heart will open to the greater expression of who I am. And as I accept that, as I embrace that, and I accept that into me, I open myself up to go into a state of meditation which will allow me to experience that at a deeper level. So I'm now going to receive a form of meditation where there are 7 parts which will take me a year and a half to go through and to get through this. And that will open at a higher level. Because what I've come to understand is that there are so many teachers in the world that we can use, that we can benefit by. And what I understand in this world today, the opening to the divine feminine, and when I talk about the divine feminine, I'm talking about the heart center. I'm talking about the part of you that is willing to see the beauty of a human being, while the masculine side sees the rationale, sees the intellect, sees the power and that. And there's got to be a perfect balance. And if you know me well enough, you know I've got a lot of masculine. I've got a lot of that. Well, I want to open up and get the balance. Because what I understand so clearly is that the divine is both masculine and feminine in perfect harmony. So someone once said to me, "You're so damn masculine." I got offended by that. I did, because wait a second, I got a very sensitive side to me. I'm very compassionate toward people. I'm very aware of when people are hurting. I'm very aware of that. I speak very masculine. But you see, I was offended for about that much, and I said, okay, how can I open to the more feminine aspect of me, the more loving side of me? And then I put it into the universe, and what did the universe do? It brought me this individual who I had the experience of today, which has taken me down a path. You see, so being offended brought me the contrast that allowed me to step into a possibility, a practice of becoming a greater expression of love. That's what we do when we're offended. We look within us and say, what is it that's desiring to be changed? Not changed because someone else wants it to be changed, but changed because it's prohibiting us from going out and being the full magnificence of who we are. You see, that's what life is about. It's about not being something for someone else. So we're about to enter into the Christmas season. And the Christmas season is really this. It's about birthing the light of infinite love that is within you and allowing that light to come out into the world as only you can be. And you are the child. You are the Christ being born. You see, Christ is not Jesus. Christ is a term given to Jesus. It means the anointed one. It means the one who comes forth with the light, who brings the light, who lights the darkness. So I embody you in this Christmas season through all the contrast, through all the offenses that you will feel, that you may give out, that you may witness. Be the light. Be the Christ. I'll give you one simple practice, that when your button is pushed, pause. Ask the simple question. Pause for 5 seconds. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And ask the question now, how can I be the light in this situation? Something within you that is greater than what you perceive will fill you, guide you, and direct you, and you will be the light. You will be the perfection of Christ on earth today. Let's pray. I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask that you go to our website, agapecsl.com. Once there, click on the donate button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. Or if you would like, text your gift by simply dialing 972-532-6976. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to you in the world. I would ask that if you like this message, to please subscribe to my YouTube channel under my name, Lee Wolak. Again, I want to thank you for joining me in the Agape community as we learn how to better self-love through conscious living.